just slightly further into the cove, and we'll come out on this. And what's happened now is we're at a point in the cove where we have passed Brixham and we're now beyond the end of the breakwater there that protects the harbour. So we now have clear shots going out to sea. That's quite important because of what this place used to be. If you think those look a little bit like sort of bunkers, you'd be right. This was a south coast station during the Second World War that would be a monitoring place for any invasion from continental Europe, which would come across the sea from there. So this was, they call them battery stations, because they're like mounted cannons, basically, that would sit on top of the cliff there, and they'd be pointed in this direction, so that if anything came into this bay that looked hostile during the war, this was the place where the big guns would be unleashed, I suppose, in order to protect the coast. Now there must be hundreds of these dotted along the south coast, and of course this, I suppose, would also be a place where, you know, you would possibly have set sail if you were going to go to D-Day, and you may well have been brought back after Dunkirk. There never was an invasion by sea from the coast, but had there been, this would have been the front line, very literally. So with the main guns pointing in that direction off what is pretty much a sheer cliff around this corner, you might wonder, well, if they did have to launch anything, where would be the closest place to launch from, assuming of course that they wouldn't be launching from Brixham Harbour, because of course that is actually not easy to coordinate between here and Brixham Harbour, not without sending somebody from here and sort of skirting around the cliff that way. Well, there is an answer. It's called a fish comb cove, and it's a cove within the bay, one of quite a few, I have to say, but it's right on the doorstep here of the battery park, so it's basically all in the same vicinity. You could, if you saw something coming and felt the need to launch ships in advance to try and break out, this little beach cove round here, there, just leading up there, would be the perfect place to do it. And that's where we're going next. After climbing up a rather steep hill from the beach near where the battery place is, we find ourselves on the other side of that cove, and over here the beach is called Churston Cove, because in this direction you can walk through to the little village of Churston. Brixham is back in that direction, and ahead of us is the way to Churston Cove, which is opposite the sort of launching beach, if you like, from from that battery place, and then we have to walk along the cliffside through Marriage Wood, which is basically what this is, until we come out at Elbury Cove, and then we're getting close to the sort of more built up parts of Torbay, where you start to head into the big sort of coastal towns. Now, I'm under trees here, but I can feel that it's started to rain again. So I'm quite grateful that I've got quite a walk under these trees. And whether I actually go down to Churston Cove, which I suspect is down here, or whether I just walk along, I haven't decided yet, because I saw Churston Cove obviously from the beach on the other side of the same cove, and I have seen that the way down there is particularly steep with the steps, so I may just go through the wood whilst it's raining. You might like to know that I sat on those there steps. Don't know if we can zoom in any more. There we are, on the other side of the cove. Above it, that's where the fortifications were during the Second World War, and I've just gone up and round, and now I'm coming down here to the other side of the cove. You can see it's beautiful. Now this is Marriage Woods, and we're on our way down to Churston Beach, and it's really, really pretty. The trees are also very lovely. I think there's a lot of sycamore and a lot of beech around here, so they're rather large trees. But I love this little path down here with the steps. Actually, this is not the one I saw. This path goes down, but there's another path I know that goes up, because that's what I saw from over there when I was looking that way. There is a tiny bit of a shower that's passing across, but we're safe here because the trees have such a wide canopy that almost nothing is getting through. So occasionally I hear the shower, but I don't feel it. Down we go. Not sure how well you can see this, and I have to say, going back up here is going to be a bit of a pain, but there we are, never mind. I wonder how far I shall get round today, whether I shall get to Torbay or whether I shall only manage to make it back to Paignton. Because of course I don't know exactly what I'm doing tomorrow yet, and one possibility is that if I make it to Paignton today, I can stop there and then start from the Torbay and work back to Paignton the following day. But I have to remember that Friday is the last day that we've got here, and I don't know what everybody else is doing, so I have to try and squeeze as much into this day, just in case somebody else comes up with something better to do that I decide to do instead of the rest of the seafront here. So that's my motivation for, I stop every so often, maybe I write my journal or something. Oh, this is nice. We're now on the yeah, you see, that's where they would launch from. That right over there you can possibly see is the breakwater. So around the other side is Brixham, sort of along that side. And here we are in the Churston Cove, heading down towards the little beach. These are all Marriage Woods up along here, along this side. So it's not actually raining now, it's sort of stopped, but it certainly was. And those are the steps that I could see on the other side. Don't know if you can see them there. I don't know what I should do, because I happen to know that there is one, the main route is actually just runs around the top, so I assume this just joins up to the top. But if it looks a bit dicey, I might go back this way, because at least I know exactly where this one goes. I have to say, the rocks are a little slippery, and I did see the other people that were down here came back up this route, so that's one thing to remember. We're nearly there now. I'm sorry, how am I zoomed in? I am zoomed in. Sorry, that'll make you feel almost as seasick as me walking up here, because these are some sheer cliffs. These cliffs aren't too bad, they look like they're made of pretty tough stuff, but some of the cliffs around here have a habit of being made of that red clay irony thing, and they tend to collapse even when they're not really eroded, even when they're just the cliffs quite a long way back from the beach. So right, well, here we are. I'm not sure where that one goes, you know, up there. I might just, I think I'll go back the way I came. And you can see in the far distance there, that's the other cove round there, where I was before. Lovely. So we are now approaching Broad Sands, and I last spoke to you on Fishcombe. Was it Fishcombe Bay? I think it was Fishcombe Beach, which I didn't particularly like, and I decided I was going to go back to the main path, except the main path turned out to be a dead end, and so then I had to turn around and go all the way back down to that beach again, down that very steep track, and up the other side. Again, very steep, and that's when the heavens opened, and it rained something rottenous. I was climbing that cliff, and then I got inside the forest at the top, and it's been so wet that it was raining through the canopy, and it's continued to rain inside here ever since. Of course, it stopped raining outside long ago, but the water dripping through the canopy has extended the rain. Now you can hear you can hear the sea and the beach down here, and you can probably also hear a train. I think there's some sort of steam train that might be able to take us some of the way towards Paynton from here. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've been able to study the map, and it's been a bit wet to sort of open things up and sit down. So as soon as we get down to the beach, Broad Sands, we'll be able to have a look and assess the situation a little bit better. Thankfully, although it has rained quite heavy, it's rained in a set of cloud bursts, which means that things like this haven't expanded yet to fill the whole path, which was my worry, not knowing the terrain, but knowing what sometimes happens to places like that when it does rain. And here we are. We've made it to the beach, and it's not raining at all out here. And Torbay on the other side over there, which is just over there, has started to take beyond that thing. Come on, zoom in. There we are. Those houses, they're beginning to take shape now, rather than just be a sort of coastline. I would think we're nearly about halfway round now. We're nearly at the inside part of the bay. Sorry for the bumps, I really am, but it's not terribly easy to get down. I've got a Coke can in my hand as well. Here we are, at the bottom. Well, I think the way across is going to be on the other side. There's an interesting little house there. We're going to have a look around here, I think.